don't know. I couldn't find McLaughlin and Lee type. There's a whole row of people that were involved in this.
I think it just needs to be what the heading is, and it's a report, that's all.
A report.
Of an independent committee of inquiry on the impact of higher education of students' widespread use of Web 2 technologies.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm all ready to go, but before I go, you know when I was, maybe we should video this because this is conversation. When I was talking from my walk this morning to one of the local farmers, he reached across into his glove box and he brought out this little tool. And he says, for years I've been having problems with my electric fence. He said, now I can hold this tool on my electric fence, I hit this button and it turns the fence off at the house. I can do the repairs, I put this tool back on the electric fence, hit this button, and it goes live again, and it diagnoses if it's better or not. And I thought, now that's smart technology. He said it saves me hours and hours of having to roar back to the house to turn the electric current back on, because this is mains power, it's not that girly bloody battery stuff. This is the stuff that when you grab hold of it makes your eyes light up.
Yep.
And I thought, that's bloody smart, eh? Here's a dumb old farmer using some pretty smart technology.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call him a dumb old farmer, but yeah.
Oh, you haven't met him. He's not dumb. He's actually a very nice man. He solves the world's problem, hence we talk for hours. But I thought I'd share that with you. It was some good stuff to pick up just for general conversation.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have thought that was possible, but apparently.
Well, it could either be done wirelessly, just like your internet connection.
Well, the system
down the fence.
Yeah, the system looked like it was plastic and it had a groove in it with this little bit of metal that came up. When he held that on the wire, I would say, then he hit the button and it turned it off. Would that be right?
Yep, that could be correct. There is a system where you can plug and network your house with using the electric plugs in your house to actually as a data connection for your PCs. And it would use the same sort of technology as that. Looking in the house, in the control unit for the electric fence, there will be a IC or chip looking for data coming down the wire.
Yeah.
And that data would say switch off or switch on.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty smart.
It's very smart.
Yeah, I know. And as he said, it saves him hours. Now he can just keep going until he finds the fault. And then go and do the stuff that he was going to do. Other than that, he had to keep roaring back. Because, it's not a very big farm. It's only 500-600 acres. But, that's 5 or 6K each time he has to travel from one end to the other.
Yeah, a lot of waste of time just going backs and forwards.
Yeah, just so that you don't get electric shock. Yeah. So anyhow, I just thought I'd share that. So you ready?
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about, before I kick it in the guts, we're going to be talking about, I'm trying to remember. Oh, it doesn't matter. We'll just fire it up. You ready?
Go for it.
Oh, hold on. It's already been running for a while. It's already been running for 3 minutes, so yeah. Well, that was quite good, eh? I just went down to turn it on.
I thought you were going about, you meant to tell us when you
Yeah. Any other good general conversation. But I suppose that's what happens in conversation, doesn't it?
It does.
Like that video was really interesting when the students all held up their perspectives.
Yeah, I actually found that quite emotional, to be honest. I looked at it and a lot of the things I was saying struck home.
Yeah.
Actually, wow, what are we doing this for? What's the point of it?
Where's the learning?
Well, yeah, are they enjoying the learning?
No, they weren't.
Or are they hating the learning? Are they finding it really painful?
Well, their body language, they were pretty pissed.
Yeah.
Like, that one that someone held up and said, I paid 20 grand to come on this course, and so did the person next to me that I've never seen.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we've made and gone down a really the wrong way in the direction of education.
Yeah.
Education, and this is what I was sort of hinting at before in the bit I've read you earlier about. We're now in an era where it's leftovers from, let's say, the Victorian age,
yeah,
where that's what happens, and this is, you've got to be in a classroom, you've got to be lined up. And we've turned education, which should be an exciting, thrilling thing, because everyone likes to learn, or certainly I like to learn, into something that's boring and tedious, because you have to tick boxes and reach certain points that are prejudged.
Yeah.
How do we know what those points are? How do we know that someone has already reached those points, but we haven't judged them, or he doesn't quite line up with the tick box that we already have?
Yeah.
You know, so we've turned education into a tedious exercise.
All right. Now, you know that tick box that you're talking about, I'm just trying to brainstorm here. What would it be like if that tick box was actually in the cloud, and you could activate it when you needed to, and other times you stored it there, almost like referencing?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by the tick box.
Well, who owns the tick box?
If you're talking about to ascertain whether a student or a learner, let's say, has reached the correct level to get the ticks, or done the correct exercise to get the tick in the box,
Yeah.
then I suppose it's the teacher or educator at that point.
Yeah, that's the power over thing again, eh? It's like, you know, why are we assessing? Are we assessing to ensure that learning happens, or we're assessing because it's a tick-the-box event?
Well, exactly. And that is some of the key issues with assessment. Although I have to be honest, I haven't come up or thought of another way we can achieve the same results, e.g. have they reached, or has learning happened? But I know the tick box isn't the right way to go. And even maybe assessment's not the right way to go.
If we negotiated so that I told you when I reckon I'd reached the level of what I thought the learning was at, after we'd negotiated and worked through what that might look like, then you could make that decision whether you agree with me or don't agree with me. And
how would I ascertain that what you're saying is correct, that you have reached the right level?
Because I'd have to tell you that. I'd have to give you evidence that that happened, because my learning would be the evidence that that had happened, because that's what I'm working towards. Like, I've set a goal, I've set a vision, and that's what you're assessing, what that goal and what that vision is.
Which
and
is
I know when I've reached it. What's that?
I'm going to say, was the original concept of portfolio, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we've moved away from it. I feel we've probably moved away from it a little bit.
In what way?
Yeah, it's hard to put my finger on it in an exact, because I mean, I think what my students do, in the sense they give me a portfolio, and in their portfolio they've shown me their work, they've explained it, in their own words, they've talked about it, they've given me readings and explained their readings.
Yeah.
That, I think, probably does fit the idea of the portfolio, but I'm still judging whether or not they have reached this right level, of course.
So if the judgment of what that might look like is also in that portfolio, and they may comment on what level of the tick boxes they felt their portfolio was at when they put it in, that could be a way of looking at it.
It could be, or we just giving them another iteration of tick boxes.
Yeah, it could be. Hey, listen, we're up to 9 minutes, so I'm going to stop this just to see what's going to happen. Is that all right?
Yep. We haven't talked about the paper at all.
No, because, see, this is what we're meant to be doing. We're doing 10 blog posts that begin to document. You see, this is a beginning, and if we only ever record the end, we actually miss the conversation at the beginning. And
yep, good point.
And if you were going to mark my portfolio and I hadn't put where I was at the beginning of the journey, how would you know how far I've come at the end if you couldn't see the beginning?
Well, it sort of goes into what we were talking about, was how do we ascertain that you're already there and you don't need to go any further?
Yeah.
Well, to reach this point.
Or I might want to go somewhere else.
Or, yeah, how do we actually ascertain that where you are?
Yeah. Hey, listen, you know that symbol?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Time out.